Mid and upper 60s tonight, mostly clear, cool again, lows mid 40s. For Friday, morning sunshine giving way to some afternoon clouds, but dry, high 70 to 72 with morning showers likely Saturday. For lunch or dinner, come to Guthrie's, home of the original golden fried delicious chicken finger with their special world famous sauce. Open daily, locations in Trenton, Signal Mountain, and Ringgold. Go get Guthrie's, it's always good. And I'm Sorgene 12, Chief Meteorologist at Report.
The radio 92.7.
Listen to that. That's the sound of power and the call of the open road. That's the sound of the newly designed 2019 Indian Chieftain Limited. Yeah, Indian. It's more than a bike. It's an experience and an American icon. The place to find it, Indian Motorcycle of Chattanooga, along with their entire new 2019 line. The open road is calling. Answer the call. Go to Indian Motorcycle of Chattanooga. Just look for the sign on 153 and Amnicola. Indian Motorcycle, the true American original.
Join We've Got You Covered with Scott Schrader every Saturday from 10 to 11 on Nooga Radio. From finance to fixtures, we discuss everything you need to know about buying or owning a home, the pitfalls, the perks, and everything in between. Saturday mornings, 10 to 12, right here on Nooga Radio.
For your small business, ending the year the right way can set you up for success come January. No need to let end of year panic set in. Easy Books and Taxes can help set up your books or new payroll service so that you can relax and enjoy the holiday season. With 35 years, bookkeeping, individual and business tax preparation, it's easy. With Easy Books and Taxes, you run the business, we keep the books. Call us today at 423-755-0821.
92.7 Nooga Radio.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, beautiful people here in the city of Chattanooga. It's your girl Marie Mott with the Marie Mott Show. And y'all know what it is. I'm taking it from the streets to City Hall, from City Hall to the mayor's office. Can't leave out the police department. From the valley low to the mountaintop, give you guys a bird's eye view to what's going on here in the city of Chattanooga. Good morning. Oh man, it has been an interesting week. We got fall weather finally cool off, and you can wear your hoodie like I got on today. You can enjoy a fresh breeze if you get up early enough in the morning and see the sunrise. The sunrise this morning was beautiful, and I have Mr. Tom back with me once again. We've talked about historic preservation. We've talked about Native American history, how it ties into Chattanooga history. Good morning, Mom. I see you. We've talked about several things, and this morning we got up and we met at Avondale. Did we not?
We did.
We met at Avondale Recreation Center, which there has been a lot of controversy around that. We both live in District 8 with Anthony Byrd as the council person, Warren Mackey as the commissioner. And Tom, you were involved with the Avondale project from the very beginning, correct?
I attended the meetings. I was running against Anthony Byrd at the time for District 8 City Council. And being involved in the district, we all went there. And so back in December, February and May of 2017, we were at the meetings together in that little gym with all sorts of noise, no sound barriers in there whatsoever. So it was just a den, and 6 different tables run by city and the architectural firm saying, what do you guys want? What do you guys want? So from the beginning, they had already chosen the design firm to hold up. Because I made a video after the city council meeting this Tuesday. I saw it.
That went viral. And there was only one individual who commented on it and said, the community was aware, such and such and such and such. Very defensive. I don't know why, but basically made the statement as if the people had every inclination of what was going on from every ounce of information from the very beginning. And how is that possible if you already show up to a community meeting about what is going to be coming into your community, and certain decisions have already been made before you get there. Do you call that transparency? And do you call that best interest of the people in District 8?
Let's go back and look at the timeline.
Let's go back. Okay.
All right. First of all, Moses Freeman was city councilman.
Mhm.
Okay. And it says here, you can go to connect.chattanooga.gov/Avondale and look at the public input timeline. And the public input timeline really, the first two events really weren't public. It was the request for quote in August to November 2016, where the city just puts out, we want to build a center. Anybody who's interested, any developers, any construction companies that are interested, give us a bid.
Mhm.
And then they picked an architectural firm, Heffernan and Cronenberg Architects, right there on Central and Main, District 8, all white firm, to design the place. And then that was December of 2016. In February, they had 2 public input meetings, and that were held down there at the existing center. And it was den. And you could sit around a table and say, this is what I want, this is what I want. And that's all they were doing, was taking input and answering. The biggest want was a swimming pool. Now, just like Southside, everybody's saying, look at how beautiful Southside is. Have you been in Southside?
I haven't been to the center.
Holy cow. It is a beautiful center. It is, you go in the swimming pools on your left, and then they go a little bit farther. The big gym is on your right. And it's just the best that's in the city. And people were saying, why can't we have something like that? And they said, well, $6 million doesn't get you a pool. Pools are too expensive to keep up. So that was it. And then there was nothing else. I have never heard of a meeting where a plan was proposed. And the pictures that are on this webpage, and you said the walkthrough,
Mhm.
I was listening. Was I listening here? No, I was listening to another station on Saturday or something, and somebody said just 20 minutes ago, they uploaded the walkthrough.
Yep.
So that was, in the past 5 days, once all the land has been prepared and the walls are up, that's when they released the walkthrough. And I see the pictures here, and I see the gym that's supposed to be proposed. We walked through there this morning.
We did.
We have pictures.
We do. We have evidence.
We have measurements.
We sure do. This is not hearsay, folks.
With your press badge, we got on there, and they said, sure. And we walked through, and we saw what the so-called locker room is going to look like. It's about the size of this studio.
It was smaller than this studio.
Yeah.
Felt like it was, and our studio is
you can see it
it's good size. It was smaller than this.
What is it? 8 by 12. I think that what we measured was 8
by 12.
An 8 by 12 locker room. Well, it can't be really a locker room, because I think we said, well, if you put in sinks and a toilet
and showers.
Well, we didn't see any place. There was no ground drain for a shower, was there?
There was not. There was not. I don't see how all of these amenities are going to fit in such a small space.
It's just the size of even the size of a small.
It was a tiny house.
Group bathroom.
That's what it felt like walking in a tiny house.
Yeah, small.
And to me, that was concerning. Then we measured the concrete bleachers.
Oh
my goodness. And they're prefabricated.
Yeah.
They're prefabricated. So they're not made. They're not made. They're already.
They're not made on site. They are brought in, laid down on top of the concrete blocks. And what is that? A 2 foot, over a 2 foot space for your butt. And then a foot riser?
Pretty much. And I'm 5'2", and Tom, if I scoot all the way back, my ankles and my feet were dangling.
Yeah.
And if I sat to where it would be comfortable for posture, then I would have probably like a foot, maybe a foot and a half of space behind me, where there is nothing to kind of hold me up. And then so one of the things that they're supposedly selling this recreation center on was multi-purpose use, right?
Yeah.
So it's not just supposed to be for the young people, but they want to turn this into a facility that and this is what they said, that elderly people could use. And I don't see, now, some people made some comments at the end, and we'll have to talk about that. But I don't see how our elders are going to be able to sit on those and be comfortable, not only from their bottom, but from, if there's nothing to kind of give them lumbar support. I don't see how they're going to sit through, if there's like a neighborhood basketball game, I don't see how they're going to be able to make it through something like that. You'd have to put like three pillows behind you.
Bring your pillow.
To be able to have some sort of lumbar support.
I think that what we came up with is that there was no community approval of the plan. It was just the input that was given, and there was no plan given back. And so there was no community, or there was no designer output program or meeting. And then the part of the features that they are talking about don't feel right. And then one of the other things that was interesting was we noticed how many cars were parked with their drivers with the tag, the license plate,
facing the ball field, which is gated.
Yep.
So we had to walk behind the gate to figure out where are these workers that are even building this facility in Black and Hispanic community. And what we got? We had Ray County, Meigs County, Sequatchie, Grundy, Georgia, and the active member of the Fraternal Order of Police.
And I think we saw was 3 Hamilton County police. Three of about 15
cars.
And we saw from the people working there, 2 African-American guys.
2 African-Americans, 1 Hispanic person, and the rest were white males.
So out of 15, that's what, 3%?
3%. So we don't get to build it. We don't get to decide anything. And Tom, we're supposed to shut up and be happy about it.
That's what they would like. And so the public input timeline, there is no public output timeline. It's pretty amazing. You know, you trust that your political representatives will say that if I'm building something for you, you know, if you're the person who wants something made for you, you say, well, when can I see the design? And I say, can I look them over and say, this is where I really like the bathroom here, or can we move the bedroom over here?
I'm about to be petty. Now, Anthony Byrd calls himself, according to the bio that he has on the city council website, he lists himself as a developer.
Yeah.
What developer is going to develop any site with the expectation of a person and not show them, work with architecture to show them the overall vision of what they're going to take an empty space or an already existing space and make it to? The other thing we looked at is how they're really squashing this building into a very, very small plot.
Over on, what is that? The southwest corner of Wilcox and Dodson? Right on the corner.
Right on the corner.
So you cannot see down Wilcox to the west. Ugh.
And according to what they said at the city council meeting, they want to have an area for drop off for children. I don't see how that's going to work with it being right there on the corner with a lot of traffic coming both ways.
So you must be coming in behind it. Well, we still don't know what the plans are, do we?
We don't. And we've never seen the blueprints. The blueprints that I talked about it yesterday. Councilman Henderson. Now, he may have them because he's over the committee for public works. But I still don't understand why he would have the blueprints under lock and key, as it seems. Because if you were at the city council meeting or you went back and you looked at the YouTube video, then you get the flavor from Bird. Well, Henderson has the plans. Well, sir, you're the council person. You mean you can't ask him? You see him every week. Hey, man, when are you going to send me, email me those plans so I can upload them to. And this is something that I said, this is 2018. This is not 1887. And so from the very beginning, if they already had the design, they showed up to the meeting with the 3D walkthrough, the blueprints, they already had planned all of this stuff before they showed up. This information should have been made public, not only to the people in the district, but the thing that we talked about this morning was, if this is a $6 million investment, everybody in the city has chipped in a little bit of money to make this project happen, because there's no privatized funds like Miller Park. There's no privatized funds that have been put up from this, and no money from the county. So that means every person that pays taxes in the city has put forth a little bit of money to make this project happen. And so even if somebody on Signal Mountain, somebody in East Brainerd, Hickson, if they want to be able to see, hey, what's going on with that project, then they should be able to go to Chattanooga.gov. This information, the city council has a Facebook page. This should have been on the Facebook page, maybe for people who don't want to go to the website, who are into social media. It's really I don't see any explanation unless the objective is to not be transparent.
Plans could be right there in PDF right now.
Yep.
We could all be measuring and looking at the sites. There's nothing.
Nothing. And even a walkthrough is not sufficient.
No.
Blueprints. Now, 800-8949 if you want to call and talk to us. But if you were building a house from the ground up, would you trust your contractor to just build it, or would you want all of the plans available? Come on. Why? Because you're building this. It's your money. The attitude and the flavor that I got from the city council meeting, besides just the blatant disrespect for the people who continued to get up and express their feelings on this project, from elders to younger people, all people of all kinds, expressing their discontent, not only with the project, but with the communication, the miscommunication that is continuing to happen within our district. For that to just be completely ignored is a problem. For Bird to be asking, what's her name, Stacy Richardson, with the mayor's assistant. She came, Tom, I'm telling you, she came with a pre-typed script. She kept looking at it to stick to the script, and she was getting flustered because he was like, well, the people are going to come to me with this question right here. How should I answer this question? Are you the council person? And if this process has been going on since 2016, and you got into it, even if he got into it in 2017, he still kind of got into it very early.
Yeah, that's still a year gone.
Very, very early.
They should be on top of things, and with the plans, and the plans should be at the Avondale Rec Center so that anybody can walk in and see what they're doing over there, what it's going to look like. And what you talked about before, transparency, that should be obvious for every project, even Miller Park. And it's not, if you all want to take a look at it, it's you can see some stuff at connect.chattanooga.gov/Avondale. If you can't find it there, just do a search when you get to chattanooga.gov and put in Avondale and go underneath the ads, and you'll get to the site. And then they have that walkthrough little movie-ette, and then they have the public input timeline, so you can check what we're saying. So I was at the meeting on this past Saturday at Avondale, and still the questions exist. Why are the bleachers concrete? Nobody's fully explained that.
And they didn't explain it
Tuesday.
They didn't explain it at the city council meeting. All we got from the mayor's office was we checked all the standards, and according to the standards for concrete bleachers, these are safe. Well, we and then we had people give ridiculous examples where UTC has, and we're talking about grown people who are not probably playing sports. We're talking about grown people sitting on these. If you say, well, they have them down, what is the place where they have all the stuff? Oh, Lord, the name just left me.
Stadium?
The stadium. They have them in the stadium, and they just have chairs on top of them. We're talking about we looked at the average age of children who were sitting outside of Avondale this morning, and they looked between the ages of maybe about 9 to 12. Yeah. And you're telling me that a small child is supposed to have, number one, if they're already little, and if you measure, because if you look at them, maybe you say, well, they don't look big, but if you measure, get a tape measure, they're only $1 or $2. Go to Harbor Freight, get you a tape measure. If you get a tape measure and you measure them, I don't see how little kids are going to be how they're going to be safe playing on those and not tripping, falling, or any sort of, I'm telling you, y'all need to, I'm going to upload the pictures of me. I'm 5'2", so I'm very short. I'm height challenged. I'm vertically challenged. And it was a little bit of a task to get my little legs up.
You look like you're sitting in one of those giant chairs.
Yes, the giant rocking chairs.
Where's it? Lily Tomlin, comedian, used to sit in one of those and pretend she was a little kid. And then you look at this picture. Can we hold it up? Maybe, yeah. There you are. That's Marie this morning, sitting on one of those bleachers.
5'2", y'all.
On the bottom one.
And it's children that are smaller than me. And while it may be hilarious looking at me like that.
Having fun.
While it's hilarious looking at me like that, the seriousness is a child. And children play. They do. Children play. They're like exploring. I mean, they're going to hurt themselves on these. Come on. They're what? Like 2 inches thick? They're thick.
Wow.
Pre-made concrete bleachers.
Prefab.
Go and look at the timeline, y'all. I can't make this stuff up, and I wouldn't want to. You were kept out of the loop. And why? Because they don't care about you. It's not about you, but they don't mind taking your dollars. Y'all better wake up and smell the coffee. Stay tuned for the second half of the segment.
3, 2, 1.
Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's news. Now.
A car chase that started in Murray County, Georgia, ended in Bradley County, Tennessee. THP says 58-year-old Randall Cooper from Georgia was driving a stolen vehicle. He reportedly crashed into 4 sheriff's cars on APD 40 during the chase. Nobody was hurt in the pursuit, and the THP and BCSO are handling the investigation. Cooper was arrested. Early voting in full swing in both Georgia and Tennessee. Almost 4 times the usual amount of people registered to vote before the midterms. There are several places around town to vote: the Hamilton County Election Commission, the Hickson Community Center, Collegedale City Hall, and the Brainerd Rec Center. And firefighters say at least one person was at home when a fire broke out on Sheridan Lane. Happened early this morning. According to Highway 58 Fire Department Assistant Chief, the home, though, a total loss. Person inside uninjured. Val St. John for Nooga Radio. News Talk 92.7. Action News now.
Sean Hannity. Weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 p.m. on Nooga Radio 92.7 FM.
Nooga Radio 92.7.
Cash, and more cash. Get 8.1% return on your money. Rick Davis can turn your cash into real money. Gold and silver bullion. American Eagle Gold. The banks give you a measly 1.9%. At Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds, you'll get 8.1% return on your money. 8.1% return on your money. Wow! Whether you're buying an ounce or 100 ounces, Rick guarantees it in writing. 8.1% Rick Davis Gold and Diamonds. Brainerd Road, Chattanooga.
Even if you like your job, there are some things that can drive you nuts, like the anonymous coward who steals your lunch from the break room fridge, or maybe Tyler, the IT guy, who gives you that condescending look when you tell him that your computer is acting up again, as if somehow it's your fault. You put up with these clowns every single day. But what happens when you've had enough? that's the day you decide to retire. At least that's the hope, right? But will you be able to retire? Can you afford to retire? That's why you need to talk to Ron and Christy Adams at One Family Financial. They can't do anything about Cody, that moron who heats up fish in the microwave, but they can strategize with you on how to get the most out of your 401k or pension, how to grow your money without losing your shirt in the market, and how to help make your money last in retirement. Talk to Ron and Christy today about whether you'll be ready to retire when you finally had it with seeing Ethan walk out of the bathroom again without washing his hands. Gross. Call Ron and Christy Adams at One Family Financial, 423-710-2009, 423-710-2009.
I'm Bo Watson, and I approve this ad.
This is Hamilton County Sheriff Kim Hammond. In today's society, safety for our children, families, and others are critical. State Senator Bo Watson is working hard to make sure that safety for all Tennesseans is paramount to our future. This is why I'm asking for your vote for Bo Watson, a leader in Nashville that is working for us and safety for all. Vote for Bo Watson for Tennessee's future.
Paid for by Friends of Bo Watson, Boy W. Watson III, Treasurer, VoteForTennessee.com.
Your home is a constant work in progress. Repaint the walls? Yeah, easy enough. Leaky faucet? There's a video for that. But roof repair? You might want some help. That's where Chattanooga Roofing Contractors come in. They have 3 generations of roofing excellence you can count on. Leave the ladder in the garage. Go to chatroofing.com. That's chatroofing.com for Chattanooga Roofing Contractors, a roofing company you can trust. Man, you sure you know what you're doing?
Yeah, I worked with my dad on his truck all the time. Just one more bolt to go.
Yeah, wrong bolt. Today's truck ain't your daddy's truck. For repairs on today's vehicles, you need Amco Transmission and Total Car Care of Chattanooga on Lee Highway. Stay on the road, not in the garage. Amco Transmission on Lee Highway. Get it done the right way. The Thompson Pet way. Yeah, I just put that anywhere.
Join We've Got You Covered with Scott Schrader every Saturday from 10 to 11 on Nuga Radio. From finance to fixtures, we discuss everything you need to know about buying or owning a home, the pitfalls, the perks, and everything in between. Saturday mornings, 10 to 12, right here on Nuga Radio.
Nuga Radio, Chattanooga weather.
Expect lots of sunshine and great looking weather out there for your afternoon. High settling into the mid and upper 60s. Tonight, mostly clear, cool again, lows mid 40s. For Friday, morning sunshine giving way to some afternoon clouds, but dry, high 70 to 72 with morning showers likely Saturday. For lunch or dinner, come to Guthrie's, home of the original golden fried delicious chicken finger with their special world famous sauce. Open daily, locations in Trenton, Signal Mountain, and Ringgold. Go get Guthrie's, it's always good. And I'm Swargene 12, chief meteorologist at your 4.
Nuga Radio 92.7.
What's going on? It's your girl Marie Mott with Marie Mott Show. Y'all know what it is. And I have Tom with me. He's been quite a regular here on Thursdays, chopping it up with me about historic preservation, Native American history, the soul tie and linking part between Native American history and African American history, and his work with Tiffany Rankins within the Lincoln Park Neighborhood Association. He is the advocate within District 8, a well-connected man. He knows so many good people like Helen Burns Sharp. I would have never known her work or who she was without Tom letting me know, hey, you should be interested. And this is a beautiful thing about community and why we must care about what's happening, why we must stand together, join arms, lock arms to fight for our city, to fight for our the preservation of our heritage, the preservation of our history, the preservation of our monuments, our structures, because we were talking about it during the break. James Baldwin said that urban revival is Negro removal. The reality is that let's be real. Nobody gets to enjoy downtown opulence and splendor without billions of dollars of taxpayer investment, along with privatized investment as well. So what that says to me is, especially if you used a lot of taxpayer dollars over the years to revive downtown,
but you made it so to where often the people who've either been here their life or been here the majority of their life, where it's difficult for them not only to afford, to enjoy some of the attractions or the things downtown, but also to see where it's like ink that has bled in several different directions all across this city, to where what is a happy revival for some is the erasing of history, Chattanooga history for natives of all kinds.
Yep. Black and red. Hey, have you been down to downtown yet lately? Have you tried to buy a drink at one of those places?
Oh, Lord. Absolutely.
Went down to, it's my 25th wedding anniversary with my wife. And thank you. And we went down to the Choo Choo and had a drink at the Stir. And my God.
Did you have a heart attack?
$12, $5 parking. $5 was the minimum amount of parking.
The last time I parked down there, which was probably like a week and a half ago, it was like $7 on a Friday.
This was a Wednesday night after 7 p.m., $5. Private lot next to the Choo Choo. And then the drink was $12. And I was looking around at all the people and wondering how they could afford it. But it was amazing how much cost has gone up, and parking. And
the thing that I've noticed is, and I've been unapologetic in saying this, is that often the people who get to enjoy a lot of what's going on in the city, they're not from here. They have left places like California, out west, where property has always been super expensive. I legitimately just took a Lyft, and this is just mind-blowing. But this is why you have to be careful when you're choosing leaders, when you're voting. This has been pushed from our mayors, supported by our council. This is not like an overnight phenomena. This has been multi-level, multi-tier leadership buying into this without consulting with people like Tiffany Rankins and yourself, understanding the economic, the historic impact of what is it going to look like if we do this.
I'm flashing back on what Chattanooga looks like now in the urban renewal, the center, how it's being built up and how it's being niceified, how it's made look more beautiful and more costly and everything. And I never went to Detroit before. Why would anybody go to Detroit? Why would anybody go to Cleveland from here? But I was on a trip to see my cousins, and they live outside Detroit. I got confused with which airport to go to, and I ended up going into Detroit and then into their metro airport, finding it was wrong, being on the bad, ugly side of town, empty houses all over the place, and then having to back out and then go to the international anyway, their better airport. I was shocked, and I call it the Detroit Donut, that in the center of Detroit, it's beautiful. It really is. Anybody saying that Detroit's an ugly city, they're wrong. Detroit is a beautiful city, but there is a donut around that center that is falling apart, that has the empty houses, the desert of people. It was shocking to see. And then outside that, I don't know if they call it mile 12 or mile 20, whatever, it is wealth. And it was just shocking to see, so obvious in the city. Beauty, center beautiful, the donut around it ugly, and the outside again wealth. And I think that's what's happening here in Chattanooga, is that you have a downtown that's being built up better and better and better, and that College Hill Courts is an anomaly in there, and so are the towers, and so is Patton Towers, and that they are next on the list for removal.
West side.
And then we will have that donut around, including the south side, Alton Park, over to Avondale, And then we will have the suburbs that are nice, like we have right now with East Brainerd.
Well, part of I'm in the midst of organizing community brainstorming sessions. And a mentor of mine is providing me statistical information as recent as 2017 and 2016 of financial breakdown,
Of neighborhoods,
tracts,
census
tracts, and she broke it down also by districts. Tom, you see, I'd say probably 90% of the wealth in the city split between 3 districts, 1, 2, 3. The rest, a little bit of middle class wealth in District 4. The rest, all predominantly African American and Hispanic, poor white neighborhoods. People are making less than $25,000 a year.
People are, or households are. Is it a household on less than 25,000? Mm-hmm. That's incredible.
Often the overwhelming majority in these districts are single parent led. Hard to digest looking and you seeing that part of the game of investing this money into certain areas is to increase the wealth, the overall wealth in an area as well, and stall the growth unless it's a situation where you see the only way you see a change in places like where I'm from, Bushtown, Churchville, is gentrification, where you see the neighborhood makeup of people coming from the outside. You don't see an investment that has happened to the people there existing. It's only when new people from somewhere else come into the neighborhood change the dynamic.
Why is that? Why aren't people investing in their own neighborhood? You know, we look at when in historical preservation, we look at the neighborhoods that are preserved here in Chattanooga. Mm-hmm. There are 4 white neighborhoods that are preserved: Battery Place, St. Elmo, Ferger Place, where I live, and what's the other one? Oh yeah, Fort Wood. Okay, the university. And there is no African American neighborhood that is preserved right now.
Not one.
Not one. Nothing in St. Elmo, nothing on the south side, nothing in Avondale. And the only one that's going for it is Lincoln Park, asking for preservation, and nobody is helping.
Nobody. So not our commissioner, Warren Mackey.
Well, you know, Mackey is a county commissioner, and it's interesting how he inserts himself there. He owns property in Lincoln Park. He has a house that's dated 1912 in Lincoln Park, but I don't think he lives there.
That's interesting. That's interesting. And he wouldn't. And according to the laws for the bylaws for your city council meetings, you're supposed to state your name and where you live, your address, before you address the council. And Christopher Dahl, shout out to my homie Christopher Dahl, called him on it and said, "State your address, sir." And of course, Ken Smith says, "I know how to run a city council meeting," and he never states where he lives.
Well, I guess none of us have to state. If a county commissioner doesn't have to state where he lives, then we don't have to state it ourselves.
And you're right, Miss Pierre. The city of Chattanooga with Velocity 2040 is already planning the next 20 years for the city of Chattanooga. The next 20 years, they're already planning what they want to do to this city for the next 20 years.
What do you want to see in the next 20 years? Do you want to see Lincoln Park preserved as an African-American neighborhood?
That's a top tier goal.
Okay. What's another African-American neighborhood that should be preserved?
Boyd Station.
Station. That's on the north side of East Chattanooga.
Bushtown, Churchville, where I've lived the majority of my life, grew up, where my grandmother's house is, my aunt's house is, my parents' house is.
So how do we increase investment of people in there? How do we stop, whiteification, white gentrification that's happened in Highland Park? What happened in ML King Boulevard? People with money White people with money come and buy up the businesses and then install their own businesses there. And it becomes.
We have 9 breweries on MLK.
Whiteified.
9 breweries on MLK alone.
You know, there. Most people don't know this, but Crazy Horse Malt Liquor used to be. The bottles were created here. The bottles were shipped here. They were labeled here in Chattanooga, and then they were shipped out for, I think, Arizona Tea and Brewing Company put liquor in them, malt liquor, and they sold it as Crazy Horse Malt Liquor. And we had we opposed that, and we got it stopped. But one of the things was to say, if it's okay to sell Crazy Horse Malt Liquor, would it be okay to sell ML King cocaine? Would it be okay to put other people's names on products that you find detrimental? Alcoholism is a big problem among Native Americans. And so to put Crazy Horse Malt Liquor on there is, putting salt in the wound. So what else could you do?
I would love to see community land trusts.
Yeah.
I would like to see an investment in community land trusts. I would like to see programs for financial literacy. I would love to see city officials holding banks. Just if it was not last year, it was year before last, for several banks, from Tennessee Valley Credit Union to First Tennessee to Bank of America to SunTrust, where a lot of redlining, only approving 5% of African American applicants for home loans. My boyfriend has been working on his credit for a year. He has $120,000 approval for home improvement, but can't get a loan to buy a home. Is that not backwards?
Wow.
SunTrust, been banking with them for over a decade.
You know who came out with that report? Citizens Organized for Action.
COA.
Studied COA. Tiffany Rankins, the vice chair, came out with that study to show how banks were wrongly treating African Americans in this city. And I don't know that that's been resolved yet.
It hasn't. There's obviously there has not been a shift. And in the uproar that I had at City Council a couple weeks ago, I had watched Councilman Byrd on his Sunday morning radio show say that, there's always this expectation of people need to do such and such. But how is that possible when you find that if people are working on their credit, if people have been banking with these institutions for such a long time, so they have a proven track record of investing, of savings, of relationship with banking, and still. But I've also covered this on our show when we talked about The Color of Law, which is an excellent book to read if you've never read it. That even back at the turn of the century, when you look at Franklin Delano Roosevelt at his time, influx $3 billion into the American economy to be able to leverage white people to be able to buy homes in the suburbs and underwrite it to where nobody of color could buy homes.
I remember reading that.
$3 billion at that time.
To white people.
To where only, and not just suburbs, but also places within the city. So we were corridored. And so this was like the offensive thing. We were corridored in these areas of the city where we've been for a long time, like Lincoln Park, like Alton Park. We lived for a long time in North Shore until that got bought
Hill
up.
City.
Cameron Hills, which is now Blue Cross Blue Shield. We were corridored in these areas for decades. And it's just like you stab us in the back because you can only live certain places because of the color of your skin and who you are. But then the places that you have lived, you've built up, you have some level of pride and history in those areas. Now it's a fight to try to stay where you are.
And it's taken away. Now we have that planned for Harriet Tubman Homes at that meeting to see wanting to change it from residential
to manufacturing.
To manufacturing. And I like the one big concern is, why are you going to do that when the biggest result that's going to come is semi-trailer trucks coming down Orchard Knob, by the school, around the school, where they are not now. Mm-hmm. But then coming down that road, down by Carver.
My neighborhood.
And then people saying that, what was the lady from the city saying, well, we're going to try to make it so that it's one of the industries that doesn't do a lot of that kind of trucking and stuff like that. So we'll see. But that's what's in the hopper right now, is changing the zoning of Harriet Tubman Homes from residential to manufacturing. And somebody else, I think it was Chris Dahl, that said, no, it wasn't. It was Eric Atkins who said, that was not the primary choice to switch it from residential to manufacturing, and jobs. Jobs was the second choice, or was the majority choice. It was making it residential again and bringing in a grocery store, small businesses. Mm. But it's not working over there on the west side, the small businesses and the grocery store. So I don't know what's going to happen there. You got any idea?
It's 2020. I'm telling you, if we walk into 2020, Tom, and we don't have a takeover, if we don't take over city council.
You're talking about the election in 2 years.
Pretty much, we're kind of stuck right now between a rock and a hard place. We can do grass level roots work, and people are doing that already. But at the end of the day, we see, just like with Alton Park, what we talked about at the first half of the segment, when people already show up and they've already had probably 6 to 8 months worth of meetings, already picked the design firm. The bulk of the decision has already been made. They just want to give the impression, the illusion of inclusion. We're kind of between a rock and a hard place, but that's the best place to be. Pressure produces a diamond. And so we're under pressure right now. And so either we have the choice, we could start formulating, what are we going to walk into 2020 with as top tier implementations and demands? And how are we going to inspire people to catch hold to a vision? I have seen people lack a vision for the city, whether it's been city council or whether it's been mayor. I want to turn this into a city of creators. And when I met with the mayor, I said, sir, if you look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, self-actualization is at the top. If you don't have basics like safety, security, and the basics, food, water, you're not going to get there.
Yep.
You're not going to get there. Tom, besides figuring out, there's an answer to every question. That's what my grandmother would say. And so there are solutions all across this country of people who figured out one thing here, one thing there. Let's plan, plot, and walk into 2020 with a takeover goal in mind, from the mayor's office to the city council, and get it done. It's your girl Marie Mott with the Marie Mott Show. Y'all know what it is. Tom back with me again. Oh man, we don't y'all know what it is. If no one has taken the time today to tell you that they love you, I love you. And guess what? There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Make sure you go out and have a good day here in the city of Chattanooga.
3, 2, 1.
Chattanooga Radio. Digital FM 95.3 HD4. 92.7 FM's news now.
A court case that started in Murray